Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. We begin with the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hope you are fine in health and enjoying your online classes. This is lecture number 25 of the course Biometabolism. I am Dr. Saimanaz, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about nucleosides and nucleic acids. Welcome to all of you in this lecture with the prayer Rabbi Zidni Ilma. My Lord, increase me in knowledge. The contents of this lecture are the introduction of nucleosides, the relationship between the nucleosides and nucleotides, what are nucleic acids and polynucleotides. In last lecture we have studied about nucleotides and the parts of nucleotides, or the formula of nucleotides and the structure of nucleotides. In this lecture we will study a little bit about nucleosides, its structure and its formula, etc. Nucleosides consist of purines and pyrimidine bases and the sugar known as beta-dextroribose or beta-D2-deoxyribose, which is linked through a covalent beta-nitroglycosidic bond. In last lecture we have studied in detail about glycosidic bond and carbohydrates or sugars that are involved in the formation of nucleotides and nucleosides. So nucleosides consist of purines and pyrimidine bases, a sugar component beta-dextroribose or beta-D2-deoxyribose, which is linked through a covalent bond with beta-nitroglycosidic bond. Therefore, nucleosides are formed by joining a nitrogenous base to a sugar with a phosphodiester bond. Base is linked through beta-nitroglycosidic bond. Nucleosides consist of a nitrogenous base, a sugar component, and a phosphate component. There are three components of nucleotides and nucleosides: nitrogenous base, sugar, and phosphate bond. Nitrogenous base is linked through beta-nitroglycosidic bond to the sugar. Beta-nitroglycosidic bond linked nitrogen 9 of the purine base or nitrogen 1 of the pyrimidine base with carbon 1 of pentose sugar. Dear students, this is the structure of pyrimidine. This is the single ring structure, and this is the structure of purine, which is the double ring structure. You can see in this picture beta-nitro 1 glycosidic bond in pyrimidine's ribonucleoside. You can see 5 carbon sugar, a nitrogenous base. A nitrogenous base is attached with these 5 carbon sugar, and here you can see beta nitrogen 9 glycosidic bond in purine ribonucleoside. Here you can see beta nitrogen 1 glycosidic bond. It means nitrogen 1 of the ring is attached with this 5 pentose sugar, and here this is nitrogen 9 of the purine ring is attached to the 5 carbon sugar. This is known as beta nitrogen 1 glycosidic bond, and this is known as beta nitrogen 9 glycosidic bond in purine ribonucleosides. Here a purine base is attached with the ribonucleoside. Here is a pyrimidine base is attached with the ribonucleoside. Pyrimidine is attached with nitrogen 1 of the pyrimidine with the beta carbon of this pentose sugar, and here when purine is attached, its nitrogen 9 get attached with the beta carbon of this pentose sugar. So this is beta nitrogen 1 glycosidic bond in pyrimidine ribonucleosides, and this is beta nitrogen 9 glycosidic bond in purine ribonucleosides. The nucleosides of adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, and uracil are named as adenine or adenosine, guanine or gynosine, cytosine or cytidine, and thymine or thymidine, along with uracil or uridine. Purine nucleosides ending ocene, while pyrimidine nucleosides ending in idine. IDINE and OSINE. In nucleotides, we name them as adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, and uracil. Where in nucleosides, we name them as adenosine, guanosine, cytidine, thymidine, and uridine. Pyridine nucleosides ending with OSINE and pyrimidine ending in IDINE. Ribose sugar produced ribonucleosides and 2-deoxyribose sugar produced deoxyribonucleosides. Similar like ribonucleotides. Ribose sugar produced ribonucleosides and T2-deoxyribose sugar produced deoxyribonucleosides. The nucleosides in DNA are known as deoxyguanosine or deoxycytidine and thymidine, and the nucleosides present in RNA are known as adenosine, guanine, cytidine, and uridine. Nucleosides in DNA are known as deoxyguanosine and deoxycytidine and thymidine. Nitrogenous bases, phosphate group, and 5-carbon sugar are the main components of nucleotides and nucleosides. Nitrogenous bases like adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine are present in DNA, whereas in RNA, adenine, guanine, cytosine, and uracil are present. Here, thymine is replaced by uracil. Whereas the nucleosides in DNA are known as deoxyguanosine, deoxycytidine, and thymidine, whereas the nucleosides in RNA are known as adenosine, guanosine, cytidine, and uridine. If the base is a purine, then the nitrogen 9 is bonded to carbon 1 of the sugar. If the base is pyrimidine, then nitrogen 1 is bonded to carbon 1 of the sugar, as we have seen in the previous slide. Base was purine, it was attached through nitrogen 9 to the carbon 1 of the sugar, and base was pyrimidine, it was attached through nitrogen 1 and bonded to the carbon 1 of the sugar. These are the examples of common nucleosides present in both DNA and RNA. Cytidine, uridine, adenosine, guanosine, inosine, which is an uncommon nucleoside. You can see the structures of these nucleosides. When pyrimidine bases join, they form cytidine and uridine. When purine bases or the double ring bases attach with the 5-carbon sugar, they form adenosine, guanosine, and inosine, which is an uncommon nucleoside. It is not the most common, or it is not commonly found nucleoside. It is specific type of nucleoside known as inosine, which is also formed by the purine base attached with the 5-carbon sugar of the nucleoside. Glycosidic bond configuration. Dear students, the glycosidic form between the nitrogen base and 5-carbon sugar can be configured either clockwise or in anti-clockwise direction. Its configuration is different in pyrimidine as well as purine when attached to the 5-carbon sugar. You can see in this picture, either it attains the syn configuration or anti-configuration. You can see in this picture a purine base is attached with the 5-carbon sugar. This is the structure of adenosine. Here the glycosidic bond attained the syn configuration. You can see with this arrow, and in this structure which is adenosine, here is also pyrimidine is attached with the 5-carbon sugar, and here it attains anti-configuration. And this is the structure of cytidine. Here pyrimidine is attached with the 5-carbon sugar, and this is anti-cytidine structure. Here it attained glycosidic bond, attained anti-configuration. You cannot see the configuration here with the visible eye. It can only be seen by the microscope. We can only elucidate or explore the structure by saying that it is either seen configured structure or it is anti-configured structure. The base can exist in two distinct orientations about the nitrogen glycosidic bond. Either seen configuration it attained or either it attained anti-configuration. These conformations are identified as seen and anti. It is the anti-conformation that predominates in naturally occurring nucleotides. Dear students, you can clearly see the difference between seen adenosine and anti-adenosine. In seen adenosine, the smallest ring of the purine, its nitrogen is attached with the carbon 1 of the phosphate sugar. In anti-adenosine, this purine base, the small ring, is attached with the opposite order to seen adenosine configuration, and it is small nitrogen 9 of the smallest ring of the purine, which is attached to the carbon 1 of the phosphate 5 carbon sugar. This is the seen configuration of adenosine and this is the anti-configuration of the adenosine. Usually in naturally occurring nucleotides, anti-conformation is predominates than seen conformation. Usually the bases can exist in two distinct orientations. 5 carbon sugar remains as such at its place. The bases pyridine or pyrimidines can attain the two distinct orientation, either the seen orientation or the anti-orientation about the nitrogen glycosidic bond. These conformations are usually identical but they are opposite to each other. Either they attain seen conformation or they attain anti-conformation. Nucleotides and nucleosides that are not part of DNA or RNA, they play an important role in the formation of the nucleotides. Nucleotides and nucleosides that are not the part of DNA or RNA or present in extra, they play an important role for the formation of the nucleotides. Some nucleotides are not part of DNA or RNA but still play an important role in the cell. For example, cyclic adenosine monophosphate, also known as GAM, is an intracellular signal performance function. Its function is performed as intracellular signal transduction. It communicates information from one part of the cell to another. Dear students, cyclic adenosine monophosphate is usually not a part of genetic material. It is extra nucleotide and it is formed by the presence of extra DNA or RNA, but they are not the part of genetic DNA or RNA. It is formed by the presence of extra nitrogenous bases, carbon, sugars and phosphate bonds. For example, cyclic adenosine monophosphate, also known as GAM, they perform the function of intracellular signal transduction. It communicates information from one part of the cell to another. Similarly, other nucleotides like coenzymes, which are play an important role for the purpose of enzyme, they help the enzyme for performing their function as a coenzyme. Enzymes are made up of proteins and present in our body. They play an important role in almost all biochemical cycles, either present in respiratory system or in digestive system. They perform the function of catalyst in all biochemical cycles present in biological organisms. You can see without the enzymes, the biochemical cycles or the purpose of catabolism or anabolism cannot be fulfilled without the presence of enzymes. So some nucleotides are coenzymes which play an important role to help out the enzyme molecule. Coenzymes are not a part of enzymes but they help in the function performance of the enzymes. So what are these nucleotides? For example, adenosine triphosphate are familiar with this molecule. It is the rich energy molecule. Adenosine triphosphate. It is consumed and formed in every biochemical cycle in minimum to maximum quantity. You can say it is the energy molecule of biological organism. It can also act as the storehouse of energy. It is common and its critical energy transfer molecule. The bond that holds 3 phosphate groups to adenosine stores energy. You can see in this yellow highlighted portion 3 phosphate group. The bonds that hold these 3 phosphate groups to the adenosine, they store energy. They form when energy is released and transfer that energy to other places in the cell. This is the 5-carbon sugar. Here 3 phosphate groups that actually store the energy are attached with this sugar, and nitrogenous base is attached with this 5-carbon sugar. So it is a complete nucleotide, but it is not the part of genetic material, DNA or RNA. It performs the function of energy transfer molecule. You can see the beaded structure of this adenosine triphosphate molecule in this picture also. Similarly, adenosine monophosphate, adenosine 5' monophosphate or adenosine 3' monophosphate, similarly adenosine 2' monophosphate and adenosine 2'3' cyclic monophosphate. They are named according to their bonding of the phosphate group or the phosphate bond with the carbon atom of the 5-carbon sugar. If phosphate group is attached to the 5th carbon of this pentose sugar, it is known as adenosine 5' monophosphate. If the phosphate bonding is developed at 3 number carbon of this 5-carbon sugar molecule, it is known as adenosine 3' monophosphate. If a phosphate linkage is developed at 2nd carbon number of the pentose sugar, it is known as adenosine 2' monophosphate. And if cyclic phosphate linkage develop at 2 and 3rd carbon, 2nd and 3rd carbon of this pentose sugar, it is known as adenosine 2'3' cyclic monophosphate. Now come towards conclusion about nucleic acids and polynucleotides. The nucleic acids are polymers of subunits of monomer nucleotides. Nucleic acids important substances that all cellular organisms use to store their genetic information. Nucleic acids are the important part of nucleus or chromatin material. They are the genetic materials. They are the substances that cellular organisms carry to store their genetic information, to transfer their genetic information, and for the multiplication of genetic information. When cell divide by the process of mitosis and meiosis, its genetic material also divides. The most common nucleic acids are deoxyribonucleic acids and ribonucleic acids. DNA as well as RNA are the 2 most common types of nucleic acids present in living organisms. The chemical linkage between nucleotides units in the nucleic acid is the phosphodiester linkage, which connects the 5th hydroxyl group of one nucleotide to the 3rd hydroxyl group of the next nucleotide. 2 nucleotides attach with each other by the formation of a linkage, which is known as phosphodiester linkage, or the formation of phosphodiester bond. 2 nucleotides join with each other and connect with the 5th hydroxyl group of one nucleotide to the 3rd hydroxyl group of the next nucleotide, or the hydroxyl group present at the 5th carbon atom of one nucleotide and hydroxyl group present at the 3rd carbon atom of the next nucleotide. Phosphodiester bonds are essential to all life, as they make up the backbone of each helical strand of DNA. Phosphodiester bonds are usually form the backbone of each helical strand of DNA. In DNA and RNA, the phosphodiester bond is the linkage between the third carbon atom of one sugar molecule and the fifth carbon atom of the another. In both deoxyribonucleic acids and ribonucleic acids, the phosphodiester bond is the linkage between third carbon atom of one sugar molecule and fifth carbon atom of the another sugar molecule. The sugar molecules are either deoxyribose in DNA and ribose sugar is present in RNA. Hydrolysis of phosphodiester bonds can be catalyzed by the action of phosphodiesterase enzyme, and when this phosphodiester bond break in the presence of water molecule, its hydrolysis occur. Hydrolysis of nucleic acid, DNA or RNA occur, or the bond phosphodiester bond gets broken down in the presence of water molecule, and this reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme phosphodiesterase, or you can see in the presence of phosphodiesterase, hydrolysis or the breakdown of water molecule of phosphodiester bond occur, and phosphodiester bond that link form between one nucleotide to other nucleotides is broken down, and nucleotides get resolved or get detached from each other. You can see in this picture the sequence of RNA and DNA structures. The chemical linkages between monomer units in nucleic acid is a phosphodiester linkage. You can see the gray version of the phosphodiester linkage. Here, phosphate group form diester linkage with the fifth carbon atom of the one pentose sugar and third carbon atom of the second pentose sugar, or fifth carbon atom of the one nucleotide is attached with the third carbon atom of the another nucleotide, and in between these two nucleotides there is a phosphodiester linkage, and whole nucleotides get arranged in the form of ladder by the formation of this backbone of phosphodiester linkage. It is present in DNA as well as present in RNA. The difference is that in DNA, the nitrogenous bases, you can see the colored blocks of nitrogenous bases like adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine in DNA, whereas in RNA these are adenine, guanine, cytosine and uracil. You can see the colored blocks in this picture. This is a one nucleotide. This one nucleotide is attached with this another nucleotide by the formation of this phosphodiester linkage, and this phosphodiester linkage get dissolved by the chemical reaction known as hydrolysis in the presence of enzyme phosphodiesterase. Phosphodiester connect the 5th hydroxyl group of one nucleotide to the 3rd hydroxyl group of the next nucleotide. As you can see in this picture, the 5th hydroxyl group of one nucleotide get attached with the 3rd hydroxyl group of the other nucleotide, and in between these two nucleotides there is a phosphodiester bond is formed. Formation of a phosphodiester bond is formed by the polymerase and ligase activity, where the broken down of phosphodiester bond is activated the presence of phosphodiesterase enzyme. The formation of phosphodiester bond between two nucleotides is activated by the presence of enzyme polymerases and ligases. You can see condensation reaction occur, and this phosphodiester bond is formed between the two nucleotides by the release of this water molecule. And again, when the hydrolysis of this phosphodiester bond occur in the presence of this water molecule, or this water molecule get broken down, this phosphodiester bond is broken down in the presence of phosphodiesterase enzyme. Here enzyme polymerase and ligase perform its function. A condensation reaction occur between two nucleotides and a phosphodiester linkage is developed. We can summarize our lecture in this video.
In this video, we will study about nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are basically biopolymers which are made up of monomeric units known as nucleotides. We have two important functions for nucleic acids, that is, they hold our genetic information and they perform variety of other functions that we will discuss later. We have two important types of nucleic acids in our body, the DNA and the RNA. Let's first try to understand the definition of nucleic acids. So nucleic acids are biopolymers. Bio means that they are synthesized inside biological systems and they are not synthetically synthesized. They are polymers, which means they are made up of repeated units called as monomers, which in this case are nucleotides. Now take this example. We have many different types of biopolymers in our body. One of them are the proteins. And most of you know that the proteins are made up of repeated units called as amino acids. Similarly, nucleic acids are also important biopolymers in our body, which are made up of repeated units which are known as nucleotides. So the next important thing is to understand the basic structure of a nucleotide, which will help us to understand the structure of nucleic acids in detail. Now this is a simple diagram explaining the structure of a nucleotide. As you can see, the single nucleotide is made up of three important groups: the phosphate, the sugar and the nitrogenous base. And these groups are attached to one another by bonds, which we'll discuss later. To understand the complete structure of a nucleotide, let's try to understand the structure of these groups one by one. So the first is the sugar. The sugar present inside the nucleic acids are 5 carbon sugars. Now most of you know the 6 carbon sugar present inside the body, and most important of them is the glucose. Now in chemical nomenclature, all the 6 carbon sugars are called as hexoses. The word hex meaning 6. There are different types of hexoses in our body other than glucose, like the mannose and galactose. Similarly, 5 carbon sugars are called pentoses, the word pent meaning 5. There are different types of pentoses in our body, but the two important types of pentoses that are present inside the nucleic acids are the ribose and the deoxyribose. So this is a simplified structure of the sugar present inside the nucleotide. Now if we compare this structure with the chemical structure of the ribose and deoxyribose on the right, you can see the structure clearly. We have carbon atoms on each of these corners. Note that the last carbon atom is located outside the ring. We have an oxygen atom at the center topmost position. You can also see in this chemical structure that the carbon atoms are named from 1 to 5 in a clockwise direction. So the carbon atom next right to the oxygen is called C1, so C2, C3, C4 and C5. C5 is located outside the ring. You can also see in this chemical structure we have different types of functional groups attached to these carbon atoms, like the hydroxyl group and the hydrogen atom. The most important of these functional groups which determine whether the sugar is ribose or deoxyribose are present at the carbon number 2 and the carbon number 3. In the sugar ribose, we have a hydroxyl group that is attached to the carbon number 2. This is the chemical structure of ribose. Now if you compare this structure with the structure of deoxyribose, the only major difference is at carbon number 2 that the carbon number 2 contains only a hydrogen atom and not the hydroxyl group. So the resultant sugar is called a deoxyribose. Here you can see the carbon number 2 in deoxyribose contains only a hydrogen atom, whereas in ribose the carbon number 2 contains a hydroxyl group. You can also tell this by the difference in their names, that the deoxyribose has a prefix called as deoxy, which means removal of oxygen. The resultant sugar, the deoxyribose, is more stable as compared to ribose because of one less functional group. The deoxyribose is present in DNA and ribose is present in RNA. You can also remember this by the starting of the DNA, which starts with D, so the deoxyribose, and the RNA which starts with R, so the sugar is the ribose. The next important group to study in the structure of nucleotide is the phosphate group, which is this entity right here. The phosphate group consists of a phosphorus atom in the center to which 4 oxygen atoms are attached, which are negatively charged. The phosphate group is the same phosphate group which is present in the adenosine triphosphate, the energy carrying molecule of the body. However, in ATP we have 3 molecules of phosphate which are attached to one another by high energy phosphodiester bonds. The phosphate group is a polar molecule due to the presence of highly ionized oxygen atoms which impart negative charge to the phosphate group. Now the third important structure present in the structure of a nucleotide is the nitrogenous base. Nitrogenous bases are basically molecules that contain nitrogen in varying amounts and they act as a base. Now, most of you know that the human body contains organic chemicals which have carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in varying amounts. In nitrogenous bases, nitrogen combines with all of these atoms to form ring-like structures. These molecules are called bases since they can donate electrons to other molecules and form new molecules in this process. The nitrogen combines with all of these other atoms to form ringed structures. Now we can have two different types of ringed structures. One where there are single rings and second where there are double rings. The single rings are called pyrimidines and the double rings are called purines. We have three different types of pyrimidines: the thymine, cytosine and the uracil. And we have two different types of purines called adenine and guanine. In the center you can see the chemical structure of each of these bases. As you can see, the purines, which are double ring structures, adenine and guanine. Due to the presence of double rings, these purines are larger as compared to the pyrimidines. The thymine, cytosine and uracil all are single ring structures and they are smaller as compared to the purines. The difference in the size of these bases is very important as it helps to pair these bases in the structure of DNA properly, which we'll study later. So now you know the individual structures which are present in a single nucleotide. Next we will look at how these individual structures bond to each other to form a single nucleotide, and then we will look at how many nucleotides bind to each other to form a chain of nucleotides which is called a polynucleotide, which can be either DNA or the RNA. So if we take a sugar and name just the important carbons here, which will be the carbon number 1 and the carbon number 5. And of course you can see that at the carbon number 2 there is only a single hydrogen atom, so this sugar will be a deoxyribose. Now to pair this deoxyribose sugar with this pyrimidine ring, the bond formed will be between the N1 of the pyrimidine ring and the C1 of the sugar. If you want to go into the details about how these nitrogens are named, you can check the link in the description below for the IUPAC nomenclature of the aromatic compounds. Now this bond will be an example of a glycosidic bond, which is a covalent bond which links carbohydrates with other structures. Now if we have to pair a purine ring at a similar position, the bond formed will be between the N9 of the purine ring. Now next let's attach the phosphate. The phosphate group attaches with the carbon number 5 of the sugar, and the bond formed is the example of ester bond, which is also a strong covalent bond. So now you know how the three structures in a single nucleotide bind to each other to form one nucleotide. Next, if we look at how many nucleotides bind to each other to form a chain of nucleotides called polynucleotides. So you can see basically what happens is that the phosphate group that attaches to the carbon number 5 of the sugar below also forms a bond with the carbon number 3 of the sugar above, and this pattern is repeated again and again. So you can see that the phosphate groups forms bonds both above and below the chain of these nucleotides. So as a result, a long chain of nucleotides is formed which consists of a sugar phosphate backbone, and in the center we have all these nitrogenous bases which project from the sugar phosphate backbone. Now this can be an example of RNA if the sugar present in this example will be a ribose sugar. But if we take a similar strand of polynucleotide and run it in opposite direction, and this strand binds with the original strand through hydrogen bonds. Now here comes the role of complementary base pairing. Now what complementary base pairing says that only adenine forms a hydrogen bond with thymine and only guanine forms a hydrogen bond with cytosine. Now this is a universal rule that is applied in the structure of a DNA. So here you can see adenine forms a hydrogen bond with thymine, and similarly thymine forms hydrogen bond with only adenine. In similar case, guanine forms a hydrogen bond with cytosine and vice versa. Now this is the basic structure of DNA, and you can compare this with the step ladder structure of the DNA. You can see that the supports of the ladder in the red are basically representing the sugar phosphate backbone, and the rungs of the ladder represent the nitrogenous bases that are forming hydrogen bonds with each other. Now of course the original structure of DNA is that of a double helix. So you can compare this structure with a double helix, where the helices of this structure represent the sugar phosphate backbone, and in the center you can see the red lines which represent the different nitrogenous bases that are forming bonds with each other. So this was an introductory video explaining you the structure of nucleic acid.
These are the references from which these materials about nucleotides and nucleosides and the structure of deoxyribonucleosides and ribonucleosides and ribonucleotides have been taken out. You can also browse these sites. You can also study these books for the updated material about the nucleic acids. Thank you and good luck and Allah Hafiz.